All right, we're live, guys. Good morning.
Hey guys, super excited to be here at EXP Kingdom Alliance in New York City.
Yes.
So check it out. Today we have an awesome and exciting. If you were even curious about EXP, you're probably going to want to hear why other people made the decision, why some people who have just jumped on EXP are seeing their business massively explode, why some people are taking advantage of revenue share and changing their lives. We'll be interviewing agents all throughout the day and letting them just tell their story.
Yeah. So how's it for you?
It's been 11 months, and it's probably the most exciting time I've ever had in real estate. To be honest with you, I've seen my agents on fire. My agents' productivity has gone up, the excitement's gone up, our consumer experience has increased as we're now collaborating with agents throughout the entire country and the entire world and learning the best practice necessary to give the best, absolute best consumer experience. So we're super excited. I'm super excited to hear other people's stories today. So we've got several agents lined up today to kind of share. You know, we've got agents who have transferred their brokerage, like Amanda and Alex will be coming up here in just a second. And we've got agents who are just, brand new who came in and they just feel like everything's on fire. They're out there door knocking. You had accountability sessions going on this morning,
great, wasn't it?
It's just so exciting to see what real estate really should have been from day one, right?
Yeah.
We both came from successful franchises and brokerages, and we ran multi-offices and we were award-winning offices, but I don't think I've ever seen you this happy in real estate. I mean, you were in your previous company for like 10 years?
It was 15 years with the franchise.
15 years
with the franchise.
And you won every award there was, right? I remember seeing you on stage, pulling down top broker of the year, top listing office, top selling, every award broker.
We would clean sweep them every year.
Like literally carrying boxes of trophies. I walked by and I saw boxes of the old trophies.
In my office, we just cleaned out a closet, and I have floor-to-ceiling boxes of awards. And I'm wondering how much I could sell them for on eBay.
Yeah, they're not worth much, right? But here's the cool thing. I was like, what is worth something is the feeling that you're getting, and the community that you're building, and watching the agents grow and watching them have stock now, and watching them have revenue share, and watching them actually grow together. It's just exciting to see all of that energy happening. I just wish I think the only regret I've ever had is I wish I would have joined EXP sooner. I wish I could have experienced this from the beginning. I wish my father could have experienced EXP when he was in business.
We're both second generation.
Yeah. So just an exciting time. I'm super excited to get our group up here. So let's just get started, shall we?
Yeah. So the first group that we have coming together is probably the newest team that joined our office, or EXP Realty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got the.
Come on. Have a seat. Slide them in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Sure.
So I'm always excited to hear about why someone made the decision, right? So you guys had a team. Tell me about the dynamic of your team, your model, your brokerage. And what was it about EXP that said, you know what, I want to make a shift?
Yeah. So, I mean, we basically had something that was kind of very similar. We were trying to build something that was already out there.
Yeah.
Basically, we had a subscription-based brokerage. We worked as a tight-knit group. So we had about 11 agents altogether. And we kept hearing about EXP over and over and over again. And we visited the model how many times? Like maybe 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, over the course of several months.
And then we realized that the only thing that was really holding us back was ego at the end of the day. So when Vincent came, we had dinner. He wasn't even talking about EXP, and then I actually sold myself on it. So.
Yeah, he gave me clear instructions. He said, we could have dinner together, but we can't talk about EXP.
Yeah.
And I held to my word.
He did. He held to the word the full time, and then
Alex brought it up.
I brought it up. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Yeah, they say that a lot. It's like once you hear about EXP and you truly understand it, and here's the challenge. A lot of times people hearing about EXP from somebody who's not a winner at EXP, or maybe like it's like going to learn about Tesla, but going to the Ford dealership. I'm pretty sure Ford's not going to be like, oh yeah, you should go buy a Tesla, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you go down, you sit down with somebody who's experienced, who understands, who's winning in the model, and you really start understanding the 5 reasons why people join EXP every single day, it really starts changing like your entire dynamics of what you're looking for in a real estate company.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, one thing that was a big like game changer and deal breaker in making the decision was we actually created a spreadsheet one night and we mapped out what would the scalability and profitability look like over the course of 5 to 10 years with our brokerage in Alexander Realty Group. And then we broke it down with what could happen with EXP Realty. We were dumbfounded. We were staring at the screen like, wow.
And it's crazy that a lot of brokers don't practice that financial modeling, right? So they're just really going year after year and just struggling to recreate another year, right? And then next thing you know, 15 years later.
Yeah, I encourage. I mean, Amanda, you guys went and took the time to actually look at the numbers, and how many people like just don't understand the numbers? Like, so you guys took the time and you said, hey, listen, here's what we're doing right now, and here's what we're doing if we join EXP, right? And both models will go in one direction, but one gives you that kind of boost and says, you know what, this can give me the tools, resources from my agents, right? And it'll make us stronger, faster, more efficient, and give us a road to financial security.
Yeah, for sure. And like KV Core, if I was to try to provide that to my agents as an independent broker, couldn't afford it, right? Like I would just go broke just trying to provide the tools. But you get it at crazy discount rates with EXP.
I'll tell you, when I first made that switch, Alex was probably one of the first brokers that reached out to me.
Is that right?
And I'll tell you, we've never met before, right? And I've heard about Ian Alexander Realty from my agents. And they would tell me about this company. They would say, Vincent, this, Amanda and Alex, they're giving us this great training. It's all for free. And when Alex reached out to me, I said, you guys love training. You add so much value. You're incredible influencers, but you're only influencing people in your local networks, in your local markets, whereas your reach is so much broader.
Yeah. I'm glad you actually brought that up because before we were having people reach out in California and Canada asking us, when are you going to bring Ian Alexander over there? I was like, we're trying to just
not in our direction.
right? So just having the ability now to be in 50 states, we already have somebody coming in from Hawaii that we made a switch over. Yeah, someone from Hawaii wants to join the group as well, which is crazy to even think. Right?
Yeah.
It's exciting. I mean, we're no longer bound to even the U.S. right now. So EXP has made the move to be an international company. All agents enjoy being part of EXPI, EXP International. We're currently in Canada, UK, Australia. There's rumors to be, in the next 10 years, I mean, the plan is to be in 40 different countries, 800,000 agents. So, I mean, and we're right on track to do that. I mean, I feel like we've got such a great diversity at EXP of languages, of cultures, of beliefs that allow us to grow exponentially to that level. I'm just excited to bring on partners like yourself who believe in the same thing that we believe, right?
Sure.
Give value, train, and develop talent, right?
Yeah.
That's something that you guys were doing already. And that's something that EXP believes in. So it allows us to even have even more opportunities among us. So that's pretty exciting. So tell me more. So you guys didn't know each other, but kind of knew each other, right?
So it really is funny and how it all worked out because we've known of each other through social media, but
right.
Never really connected. I think the first time we saw each other face to face was locally in the neighborhood, Trader Joe's, food shopping.
Yeah.
And we connected as if we were friends already.
Yeah.
Right?
So weird how social media does that, right?
It really is the power of social media. And the second time we got together was when Alex and Amanda, they invited me over to their home and they cooked me a meal.
Wow.
And that was when I wasn't allowed to talk about EXP.
Yeah, I was like, you come over, but just don't talk about EXP.
Right. The third meeting was at a restaurant, and that's where we laid out the plan and the decision was made to move forward.
Yeah, and every single one of the agents were on board right away. They were actually really happy that they could now have the best of both worlds. Because some of them were like, we want to be with EXP, but we also want to be with you guys.
Right.
Right. So they were and we just made the decision that much easier.
Which we were surprised to hear.
Yeah, like we didn't have any pushback. Everybody was on board once. Like one of our agents needs healthcare. Right, so like she has epilepsy and she was all on board. I guess when she was like,
so
I needed that.
So the agents didn't feel like they lost anything.
No, anything they gained.
If anything they gained, they were able to kind of stack the services, stack the resources, still have you guys, and then also get all the resources that we offer here out of this location. Then all of the resources that EXP offers, like the healthcare, like the KV Core, like the technology.
Yeah, and we're about to double in size in literally less than 2 weeks. It's crazy.
Wow.
Think about it.
Wow.
Like just
How long has the conversion been?
about 2.5 weeks. About?
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're doubling in size.
Yeah.
Because now
In Hawaii as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we don't have that cap of location anymore, right? Before it was that cap. Like we only have Queens and Long Island MLS.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that ability to help somebody that was in California or in Hawaii even.
I mean, that's something that we don't often think about. It's like, we've got a customer who needs a relationship in a different market, and we're scrambling to find somebody in that market. Mm-hmm. And now we could actually pass it on to somebody who's a trusted partner on the team who has the same core values as you, that's going to transfer that experience and make sure the consumer has, a top-notch experience. And you're going to find them a best property for the best price, for the best protection. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's something, and they're being trained in the same culture that you are, and you can pass on the tools. That's a seamless transaction. I want to go back a second. I think it's amazing because I feel like EXP has united agents throughout the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for the first time in agent history, and my dad worked for all the big brands out there, and I kind of watched him. I tell the story all the time. I watched him at nighttime lock his flyer inside of his lockbox. He was afraid somebody's going to steal his flyer. And
that happens.
Yeah. That was never great for the consumer. What's really great for the consumer is the locking of arms and making sure that there's no secrets, and we're helping every agent grow. So collectively, exponentially, we're making sure the consumer is seeing the best price. It actually has a better experience, that they're not overwhelmed, that we have a team of partners that are also committed to making sure that they have a great experience. This is the first time an agent-owned company has come together and put together all of those powers. Like, shout out to Jay Kinder. He talks about all the time the one big fire thing. So he's like, we all have this fire, right? Individually, if we put all that fire together, what do we have? We have EXP. And it's just exciting to see that EXP brought us together here, brought it all together, and even in my own market. So I've shout out to Veronica Figueroa. Like, we were kind of, she ran the number one Zillow team, and I ran the number one Zillow team. We traded years and stuff like that. And we kind of respected each other, and I would call her team to try to find out what she was doing. And now we talk all the time. And it's EXP that brought us together, and now my team is better because she's there, and her team is better, hopefully, because we're there. We're sharing and best practices all the time.
Yeah, I was telling Alex, we were having this discussion. How many offices are in our market right now?
110.
110 individual brokerages in our local market. Imagine how powerful this group would be if they all kind of joined forces, if they all kind of came together. Because right now, each of them are fighting for their little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Right? And each of them has their own location. Each of them has their own receptionist, their own copy machines, their own expenses.
It's just redundancy.
Exactly.
Alex hit it on the head. I mean, it was a challenge for me. Like, the number one thing that stops someone, because once they actually figure out the numbers, it's a no-brainer at that point, right? Mm-hmm. Is ego, right? And that's kind of like bound in the significant that we kind of were brought into. Like, that's what real estate used to be, but it's not who we need to be today. Today we live in a world that is different than when my dad was in real estate. Today we live in a world that we give value first. We get an expectation that the consumer wants everything. They want the prime rib steak. They want, if they're a meat eater like this, they want everything, and they deserve that experience. I know what it was to my family when my father bought his first house here in Queens Village, and how that changed the dynamic and created generational wealth. We just want that for the consumer, and we want to give them the best tools of that. And I love being aligned with partners that believe the same thing. So, so for you, it was the numbers, right? So you went into the numbers; it was undeniable. How about for you? What was it for you that kind of like threw you in?
It was actually a little bit of everything. I mean, it was kind of like I'm a tech guy, so I love I'm all about I had Lions Desk before, so I built out all my funnels. And then another part of the ego thing, as soon as I heard about KB Core, I actually got mad. I'm gonna have to build out all of these funnels again. And in my mind, I was just like, no. And then she kept showing me all these YouTube videos. I'm like, stop showing me. And then after a while, I was just sold on that technology and knowing that all my agents can have that. Right now, my agents can have healthcare. Right before, I couldn't do that. I couldn't provide that. Right. And as a good leader, sometimes you have to step back and be like, okay, am I harming my agents by not making this? Right.
Right.
That was more of my thinking at that point. Right. This organization can actually help my agents further their career why am I holding them back just because I want to have my name and I can still keep my name? That was
Yeah.
the thing. Like, I can still keep
that was huge for us.
we can still keep the branding.
I think it's weird because I hear that a lot. Like, people don't understand that EXP is not trying to replace your brand. They're trying to complement and just be the underbelly of your brand, right? They're the science behind the art that you guys are doing every day on the street. They're just a back-end software that aligns together as a cloud technology, which is really disrupting the real estate space, but it's what unites us together. EXP isn't just an extension of what you're already doing. It just allows you to do it more often and more efficiently, right?
100%.
So that's pretty cool.
So definitely numbers, tools, healthcare. I mean, the list kind of goes on. I don't want to like sound like I'm just telling you, but
And that's like, a whole list of things that joining EXP Realty has added to their group. But here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the value that these guys have just brought into the alliance for us, right? Because think about all the training that Alex and Amanda have been doing in the past. And I've had a handful of agents out of maybe 150 agents. I probably had 5 that went, kind of crossed the line, went into their office and took the training, and they all came back with value. They all came back. They said, "Hey, this is great content," right?
Yeah.
And now we get that for our entire group.
Yep.
And there's none of this feeling of, "Hey, wait a minute, you crossed the line."
By the way, jump in the line. Go
right?
to cross the line. Like, there is no line anymore. What's great about it is that we do trainings now in the world, so it allows us to have our best trainers. We icon agents, right? These who are winning the highest level, which by the way are also getting tons of stock for free for reaching that level. They train in the world. You guys can start participating in that too, and just start sharing best practices. The way real estate should have been from the beginning. And I think that other industries are also kind of looking at that and saying, you know what, I like that. I mean, I've had other industries coming up to me. My wife's an attorney. It's just like, man, I wish we had that in our field. It's like nobody shares information in that field. It's like it's do or be killed, right?
and that's how we kind of saw it when we first developed like our training concept. We felt like every brokerage, just 110 brokerages going like, no, this is our information, right?
Right.
So we kind of wanted to flip that upside down and just kind of
open up.
Yeah,
Say,
open it up.
Yeah.
So
open the doors, let people come in, and now it gives you a bigger opportunity to do that more often.
sure.
I'm excited to be in one of your trainings, actually.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. If you want
Yeah.
to come through, you're always welcome.
Good
Yeah,
stuff. So tell me more about how your agents received it. I mean, some of them were excited about it, but was there any reservations? Tell me was there anybody in your group that was like a little scared?
There was definitely one.
Yeah.
So one of our top producers, he had a little bit of a hesitation about it, just because I guess the thinking about EXP, right? Like a lot of people had a change and all that, and
The
some
shock.
shock of it all, and then revenue share, right? He at first kind of got a little scared by it, but then after explaining it and after showing him all of the potential that could be there, he was on board.
And what do you think it was specifically that after he got past the fear portion that invited him to take it a little further down the journey and ultimately make the decision?
I guess I think he also saw like us kind of like stepping into like the role of like, hey, look, we're going in this with you. We're actually stepping into production.
Mhm.
Like us swallowing, I guess, our ego and being like, okay, this is a better move. I guess he kind of sort of like, okay, maybe they are thinking like forward thinking, and that's
I think there's also something to be said about the fact that he just wanted to do his own research, which is something that some of the people that we've had very nice interactions with from EXP before we were in EXP, they were very adamant about doing research, like
Right.
look at it. I can show you, but only you can truly understand what the organization can do for you.
Mhm.
And he had to go on that journey on his own. And when he did, he was like, okay, it makes total sense.
yeah. I mean, I think everybody needs to do that. They need to do a little bit of their own research to feel comfortable with making that leap. Right?
You know what? Alex just brought something up that I think is very interesting. He just, you just said that you came back into production.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a journey as a real estate broker where you come in and you're producing in the beginning, and then it comes to a point where you have to kind of pull back a little bit to go and support your group.
Yeah.
Right. And you said you just were able to come back in. Tell me about that process.
So basically everything that I was making, like I was stepping out of production to be more of a support role for all of my agents on my team. So if they were going on appointments, I was going with them to kind of show them the ropes, because most of our agents were actually new. And I was still closing deals, but all my deals that I was closing was kind of going to the overhead of the brokerage.
Yeah.
Right. So then at one point I was
That's the typical broker model.
Yeah.
Broker
Yeah.
model. Right?
So then by me stepping into production, I didn't have as much time for the agents because I didn't have that But with EXP now, I kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, because it puts you in alignment with what you truly want to do. You want to grow people. You want to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the universal talent pool, right? That we have. So by growing people, we grow together, right? So I think that's one of the things that's a blessing about EXP. Like I said, people are enamored by our leads that we give the agents through Make It Rain. People are enamored by the technology with KB Core, and they're enamored by the fact that when an agent comes on board, they're an owner of the company and they're going to get stock options, and they're enamored by the revenue share, and they're enamored by just all the extra stuff that we do. But when it really comes down to it, the one thing that I think is the true blessing is just being around people that are looking to grow. Like I'm a Tony Robbins guy. You're a Tony Robbins guy.
I'm a Tony Robbins.
Well, there you go. Welcome to the journey. I love people's spirit when they're looking to grow. I think that they have a twinkle in their eye that just like it just says, I care about you. I want to see the best in you. And when you put that in the right efficient model, it just allows you to just take off. So,
yeah, and it's an irresistible offer. I mean, you did a business master.
Oh yeah.
It's an irresistible offer. There's no end about it.
I don't think the challenge is the offer. I think the challenge is the ability to hear the offer.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Because so many of us have heard about EXP Realty so far before we've actually joined, and you said that's one of your biggest regrets.
Yeah,
right? Not joining sooner. And what was it that stopped you?
I would have retired my wife already if I would have joined sooner. I mean, that's the one thing I look at myself and I was like, it took me. Wow, I'm sorry, Carlos. It took me about 7 months to really make my decision. I had a very fully functional brokerage. We were the top producing office for 5 years in a row in the state of Florida, and everything was working. So for me, it was kind of like, well, why would I want to shift? But I did the same thing that you guys did. Was I looked at it and I said, it was just a better model for my agents. I invited my agents over and I said, hey guys, take a look at this. I was like, am I crazy? Is there something? Tell me if I'm crazy. I almost seem like this is too good to be true, and there's got to be something wrong I'm not seeing. And I trust you guys to take a look at this. And you guys trust me, and I want to make sure that I serve you at the highest level. And when I looked at it, and they looked at it, to be very frank with you, they kind of pushed the wagon. Like they were like, oh, we want to do this now. It's like, it's almost like it's. Yeah. I heard Gene Frederick say, if you owned Blockbuster, you owned 7 Blockbusters, right? And you knew Netflix existed, would you stay at Blockbuster?
No.
Yeah.
And I love Blockbuster. It was I hated rewind fees. I really did. But I paid late fees. Like I should just bought all the movies. But the experience has changed. Like I'm going on a plane, I can go watch a movie, and I think I'd never go back to that. The entire economy's changed. The mindset has shifted. Like I used to be so impatient. If I go to Best Buy and what I wanted to buy wasn't on the shelf immediately, I'd lose my mind. Now I'm like 2-day shipping. Click done.
Those were the best ways of doing things.
Back in the day.
Until
they weren't.
Right?
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is one day we're going to look up and, traditional estate brokerage is not going to be the best way of doing things.
Yeah.
Well,
so we need to kind of be ahead of it. And I feel like we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
I feel like you have to adapt.
just out of curiosity, what would you tell someone who was thinking about this, who was maybe in that, that I think you called it one day the washing machine of information. You went through YouTube insomnia after you started looking at it, because
40 hours.
40 hours of just nonstop watching EXP videos, trying to validate your decision, right? I was like, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about this right now and maybe watching this, who've been watching you guys, right? Because you guys are kind of you guys don't understand the power and celebrity status you guys have created, and how many people are watching and are wishing they could be part of you. What would you say to that person right now?
I would say that at first it's going to feel like you've opened up a water hose of information. There's so much information out there. But at the end of the day, you have to, I would say, think about yourself as you are a real estate agent and you're running a business. A lot of real estate agents don't have this mentality of I run my business. They say I work for my broker. Right, which there's a mind shift that needs to happen there. And when you finally reach that mind shift, if you really look at the model, I would say approach it from a sense of what's the best opportunity, what's the best decision, what's the best business decision, because it is a business decision. And you can have whatever feelings you have about it. For us, ego was a huge part of it that sort of held us back from not even want to hear anything about EXP. And finally, when we sort of opened it and we really opened up the water hose of all the information, we made a business decision, and that's really what it was about. So I would say think about your business and not that, oh, you work for your broker and I'm going to be betraying this relationship, because maybe your broker needs to look at
bring your broker. I'll talk to you.
Maybe they need to take a look at the model. But it's really about just making that business decision and understanding that you are a business owner and this organization is about the agent, the business owner.
That's great. I mean, if you came into real estate so you weren't working 9 to 5, so you wouldn't work for government, or if you were going to work for, you put all that behind because you want to be a CEO of your life, not just of your business, right? You owe it to yourself to take the same research and go through the model, or talk to somebody who that knows this model, that understands the value of it, who's done the research, and just ask questions. I think that's the big thing, is don't be afraid to ask questions, because your family, your future, your business depends on it. How about you? What would you say? What would you say to somebody who right now is maybe kind of in that cycle thinking about this?
Yeah, I mean, she knew it.
She did.
I would say that we are all entrepreneurs as realtors, right? By coming together, we could do way more than being apart. Because a big thing was before joining EXP, like I would see Lily Trent and I'll be like, another listing, and then she would like, but now I feel like I'm working alongside them all, right? Yeah. So I feel like before we can, I feel like connect like this, but now we can, because all those barriers are taken down. So I feel like by saying that it's cloud, we're also allowing ourselves to understand that it's not just virtually. We are connecting as people as well. So that's something I feel needs to be addressed. With EXP, you have such a good connection with people because nobody has all those stresses that are usually there.
Right.
So I would say, be prepared to actually be part of a community, and don't think it's just like you're sitting behind a computer.
Yeah, that was actually really surprising. I was not expecting all the love from the people who are already in EXP.
Yeah. One last thing, not only just in the office, but outside as well, right?
Yes,
the community that you've created, and listen, we go out there and we have these events. We have happy hour tonight, right?
Yeah.
And we always do these gatherings. We've always done it because it's the culture that fuels the growth, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not just local, right? You have that connection, you have that interaction, and you have that culture across all of EXP, the 27,000 agents.
100%. Right? Good. And one last thing, just out of curiosity, what would you tell your consumer, right? So the consumer who's trusted you, who believed in you, who has put their home in your hands, how do you see yourself better serving your consumer now that you've made the switch?
I mean, from the open house app.
From the open house app, attracting more qualified buyers to their homes. What else?
I would say where we have, like I said, the barriers are no longer there. We have hundreds of agents. I was 800 now in New York.
In New York, yeah.
There's 800 agents that we can blast to immediately that are open to working. That we're open to working with. We're all part of one community, rather than saying, we're cut off in different ties. I'm part of this brokerage. And
every language represented, every diversity represented, every I always say is like, we take these listings and we go out there and we're shopping them around and we're trying to get that. We're trying to work hard for our seller. We're trying to make sure that it's exposed correctly. But being able to, and I think the consumer doesn't sometimes understand this, is exposing it to partners who are equally vested in making sure that the consumer has, it's like, if Vincent has a listing and I can help him sell that listing, I'm not only serving my client, but I'm serving your client to make sure that that client can now move to their next destination. And as partners in this business, I think it really increases. I mean, I can tell you in my office, specifically in Orlando, Florida, my agents have become more productive, more desiring of making sure we're counting every single day. That client wants to make that move. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can, not only on the front end, but on the back end, just to ensure that. And EXP is creating processes like the Moving Hub, which allows the consumer to not only have their property sold, but also have a transition into their next home that's seamless, that allows them to get all their connectivity and from utility services and things of that nature, and have all of that streamlined to the next, and also a follow-up system with them after the fact. So I think, I can only imagine what it's going to look like a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Yeah. But again, I'm excited to have you guys as partners.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys and helping you guys in your journey as your partner. So pleasure to have you guys this morning.
Let's
and
hear
you guys
it.
crushed it. Thank you guys so much for sharing.
Yes.
So if you guys are watching right now, you guys are starting to hear story. You're hearing a story of people making a decision to move into EXP, why they made that, and how it's changing their lives. So
So next
can you tell
up,
us about who's next?